Step right up, step right up. I am Dr. Drake, the undertaker of the unusual, the curator of the strange and macabre, and I invite you in to Dr. Drake's exhibition of the bizarre, one of the last true freak shows left in the world. This, in fact, is a dime museum and a rolling dime museum at that. Inside, you are going to see wonders the likes of which you have never experienced. So step right in. And don't be alarmed and don't be afraid, because there's nothing in here that bites too hard. Step right through the curtain and look to your right as you enter, and you will see shrunken heads from Papua New Guinea. That's right, shrunken heads. I got those from a cannibal headhunter chieftain who didn't eat me because I am a pack-a-day smoker and I taste terrible. Below, you will see voodoo paraphernalia from New Orleans. And above its nearby neighbor, you will see Victorian medical equipment, including a phrenology skull. Phrenology was the old belief that you could determine a person's behavior, their entire psychological makeup, and indeed their future by measuring the dimensions of their skull. Now, we know today that's nothing but humbug. Those people back then were fools, right? They were idiots. Well, in 100 years, what are people going to think about us? Below, you will see coal from the wreck of the Titanic. I'm not pulling your leg, folks. This is no humbug. This is no scam. That is coal from the wreck site of the Titanic. The only thing from the wreck site you are legally allowed to own. So when an expedition brought up over 600 pounds of coal from the wreck, most was given to museums and the rest was auctioned off, and I had to have some. My wife wasn't happy. And here we have artifacts including Native American arrowheads and spearheads, an Apache war club, and next door to that you will see seashells from the Atlantic coast, because not everything in here has to be creepy. Now, I'm sure that everyone knows what this is. It is in fact a plague doctor mask. This is a reproduction, not an original. Fun fact about this mask, I was thrown out of a Walmart during COVID for wearing this. Apparently they didn't have a sense of humor as I explained that I had stuffed the bill with fragrant herbs and flowers to counteract the miasma. Now behind you, you will see the largest species of bat, the Indonesian fruit bat, which can have a wingspan of up to 32 inches. That is a big bat, man. Below, you will see the largest spider in the world. That is, in fact, the Goliath bird-eating tarantula from the Amazon rainforest, called the bird eater because it has the capacity to incapacitate and fully devour a grown bird. I hope you don't have arachnophobia. Now, I must ask you a question before we proceed. An important, deep, meaningful inquiry. Do you believe in Sasquatch? Here we have a casting of a footprint found in the Pacific Northwest, said to be that of Bigfoot. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Well, that's okay if you don't, because he believes in you. Below, you'll see a few items of various levels of the mundane and the macabre, including a trilobite and a mummified fairy. I'm sure you've seen these things before. And now on to our Hall of Fame. You see, we have upon this wall photographs of the original players of the old circus sideshow of yore, including Annie Jones the Bearded Lady, Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, Francisco Lentini the Three-Legged Wonder, Lionel the Lion-Faced Man, and Jacob Ehrlich the Texas Giant, along with Jumbo the Elephant, Josephine Myrtle the Four-Legged Girl, and the Siamese twins, the original Siamese twins, Chang and Aang, who were from Siam, which is where we got the name. Also, you will see General Tom Thumb himself, Charles Stratton, and above, framed in gilt, is the man who started it all, the Prince of Humbugs, the greatest showman, Phineas Taylor Barnum. Now, I know what everybody says today, that these people were being used, they were being exploited, they were veritable slaves. In truth, Charles Stratton made so much money working with Barnum, he actually became a partner in the circus. And when Barnum fell on hard times and financial ruin, Stratton had enough money to come bail his old friend and mentor out. In fact, Stratton owned not only a mansion, but a summer home in Bridgeport, Connecticut, a yacht, and racehorses. Chang and Dang Bunker, the original Siamese twins, built not one mansion but two, side by side, so they could switch out from day to day. They married a pair of sisters, and they had 16 children between them. Myrtle Corbin, the four-legged girl, made so much money in the circus she was able to fully retire at the age of 28. She bought a huge ranch, married a fella, and had 7 kids. So, I leave it to your better offices to decide if these people were being exploited or not. Me, I know somebody was being exploited, the paying customers. These guys were laughing all the way to the bank, you rubes. Now moving right along. You will see an antique vampire hunting kit from the Victorian era. People in that age did not only believe in the blood-sucking fiends, but believed in them so much that they had vampire hunting kits made to protect themselves as they traveled abroad. This one contains not only garlic and crucifixes and holy water, but silver bullets. Apparently they used to work on vampires as well as werewolves. Funny, huh? In fact, the word for vampire and the word for werewolf is the same in Romanian, strigoi. Now, before we continue, I need to turn you about, because you saw it on the banners and it was promised to you before you entered. The two-headed pig. And there it is. There it is in all of its glory. Bob and Nob, the two-headed pig. Most animals born with 2 heads don't survive long after their birth. Do you know why? You ever had trouble making up your mind about something? Try it with 2 heads. Nothing would ever get done. Below, you will see a 2-headed baby. Now, this is not a real skeleton. No. It is a casting of the original skeleton, which lays in the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia. Strange but true. And next door you will see a Darwin fish, or rare legged piranha from the South China Sea. Now, what would you do if you were fishing and you caught something like this? What would you do if you escaped the water thinking you are safe, only to be chased upon the dry land by a creature such as this? And here we have a lamp. And I know what you're thinking. I know the question on your mind. And yes, I've already used up my 3 wishes. I wished for a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke. In retrospect, I should have just wished for the value meal, and I would have had 2 wishes left. This is a raptor claw and a raptor skull. Now, before you delve too deeply like the dwarves of old, may I introduce to you the pharaoh, the mummy of King Bubba Hotep, the king of Memphis. When uncovered, he awoke from his ancient slumber, and he chased them through the pyramid at Luxor. And they say as he did, he was singing, "You're caught in a trap. You can't walk out." May I draw your attention to the scarab on his chest. His tomb was filled with scarabs. He used to tour with the Beatles, you know. Moving along. Here we have the Florida Maneater. Note, I said the Florida Maneater, not the Florida Maneater, for this is the Florida Maneater. It is the head of a 12-foot alligator that allegedly ate a Florida man. They said he was still clutching the beer bottle in his hand. And if you know anything about Florida men, those numbers add up. And here below you have the son of Kraken. Actually, that's just a squid, in case you want to play some squid games. And here we have Ladies and gentlemen, the Fiji mermaid, because there are a lot of uhs in the world, but there is only one the, and here is the Fiji mermaid. In 1842, P.T. Barnum advertised that he had a real-life mermaid on display in his museum in Manhattan. When people paid and entered to see it, they didn't see a real-live mermaid, no. What they saw was a very dry, mummified monkey's upper half sewn to a fishtail, and it was so hideous, so awful, so perverse, that Barnum had to admit that it was a fake and market it as a genuine hoax. But when he did, something funny happened. People still paid to come see it. Do you know why? Why did you? The entertainment. The mystery, the intrigue, right? You had to see it for yourself. You see, Barnum invented something special. He didn't just create the circus. He didn't just create the freak show. No, he invented the concept that people would pay to be entertained, no matter how unrealistic and far-fetched that entertainment may be. You see, Barnum left a great thing to the world. Barnum invented clickbait. Thank you for stopping in, ladies and gentlemen, right this way through the curtain. And I hope you enjoyed everything you saw and learned something today. Now, safe travels and sweet dreams. Don't let the Fiji mermaids bite.